What is up, Internet people? Welcome to a nostalgic episode of the Creative Differences podcast. I'm Dallas, and I was shocked to find out that the main kid from Brink played Sid Phillips in Toy Story.
I was going to bring that up later too.
Sorry, I had to let that shot fly.
I'm Colin, and at this point, it feels honestly like, I don't know what to call it, like a lapse on my part that I haven't seen Brink, given how often it comes up in our conversations. Like
It's
it's come up
fantastic.
repeatedly, and I don't know anything about it. It's people skate or something.
They
Yes,
rollerblade.
skate.
It's the reason why I learned how to rollerblade. I'm not going to lie.
Nice.
And I'm Demi, and it's been 40 days and 6 episodes since we've all been on an episode together. Yes, I am back to doing the countdown. Welcome to Creative Differences Podcast. Today we are doing a Throwback Thursday for Toy Story.
Yes, Toy Story turns 25 on Sunday. Man, we're old.
God, yeah.
I'm just saying.
It's like, do I remember the first time I saw this? I was 3, bitch.
Right? We were.
Well,
If
actually,
that,
before
might
we
have
get
been
into
2.
that, oh my gosh!
Yes.
Before we get into that,
also, if you guys are wondering, Gabby's not here because she's at home playing with her toys. So,
Okay, all right.
before we get into the existentialism of toys, because that's going to come up, please like and subscribe, or toys will run up on you in your backyard. It's true. It will happen.
Yeah, so we were talking about how old we were. This movie came out when we were 3, so I
Yes.
doubt any of us remember the first time we saw this movie.
Sure don't.
It's just
No,
always
I
been a
do
part of
not.
my life.
Yeah, I just know I've always loved it, and I still do.
Great, that was the fastest. When's the first time you ever saw this movie?
Yeah, that
ever.
covers that.
So let's just jump straight into the story. Dallas, you are usually our describer man.
Let's get it.
Describer man?
I couldn't
like
think of
that.
the word that I was looking for.
I'll be a describer man.
I don't know what you would call that.
Exactly,
The
right?
describer man. She said it. That's what it is.
Yeah,
He
but that
gives the
sounds like a
description.
Yeah.
really shitty superhero.
Yeah, like old
Condiment
school
King.
Batman. Yeah, I'm describer
Not
man.
even, because Condiment King is like, he's funny because condiments. Describer man is one of those, you say it to me and I'm like, well, I don't even know what he does.
I describe things.
Walk
man.
around. Okay.
And his
Let me-
words have impact. If the way that he describes you is the way that you look for the rest of the day, or the way that you are for the rest of the day.
Oh, that's intense.
Yikes.
Anyway, Toy Story, directed by John Lasseter in his directorial debut. He's the guy who did A Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, Cars, a bunch of other stuff. Some allegations. Moving on. Written by Joss Whedon.
Also has some allegations.
Yeah, this is a day. It's written by Joss Whedon, Andrew Stanton, Joe Cohen, and Alec Sokolow. You know Joss Whedon. Andrew Stanton is another Disney dude. He wrote A Bug's Life, Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo. Joe Cohen and Alec Sokolow are a writing duo, and they did Cheaper by the Dozen and Evan Almighty. So
Okay,
everybody's
interesting.
been busy since this movie came out. Nobody fell off, so that's good. It stars Tom Hanks, Tim, why can't I say the N-word, Allen.
Ooh.
Yeah. Don Rickles, John Ratzenberger, Wallace Shawn, Annie Potts, Eric Brink Von Detten, and, a bunch of other white people.
You know, the way that you just gave that description makes me really happy that I've always been a Woody fangirl.
Yeah, because Buzz got some issues. Well, not Buzz, just the guy who plays him.
Yeah. But anyway, the story. What is the movie about for those who may not have seen this movie for some weird reason?
I'll give you a summary because IMDb is also describer man. It says a cowboy doll is profoundly threatened and jealous when a new spaceman figure supplants him as top toy in a boy's room. Which, yeah, there's no real way to make that sound dramatic because it's just some toys. But yeah, that's pretty much the story.
They could make it sound like the basically the death plot that Woody plans
That's
against
the thing
Buzz.
is, this movie is really dramatic.
Yeah, Woody is tripping, but describing it even as describer man, like when you just tell a toy is jealous of another toy, but nah, when you see it, it's like, oh, he tripping.
But it's also been 25 years since this movie came out. We are doing this for the anniversary, so I am hoping by this point you guys out there have seen this movie.
Yeah, honestly, if you haven't seen Toy Story, what are you doing, bro?
Why
Get it
not?
together.
But yeah, the story. How do you guys feel about the story?
I like it. I was saying I miss when movies were this short because they had to move the story along quickly.
Yo, that's a mood.
Yeah, you didn't have time to just sit there and deal with a bunch of nonsense that doesn't really matter. They're like, yo, we got 80 minutes, 77 if we don't include the credits, so we got to move this story along, get it popping. And I like that.
Yeah. Also, this is a very fascinating concept, the idea of your toys coming to life whenever you're in the room. Although this did used to freak me out as a kid just slightly. Like I loved the movie, but I also, I guess, had a darker sensation of like what happens if my toys don't like me and like wake up in the middle of the night.
And you end up like Sid. So
Yeah.
a
Exactly.
question that I had when I was watching this movie, for this was like, because when the when a person comes, the toys get back into their places so that no one knew that they were alive. But like the question that I had was like, when they do that, are they just unbelievably good at like not even staying still, but being completely limp and non-responsive? Like, do they still feel everything?
Yes, they do
Probably.
still feel everything, and I know that because when Sid burns Woody, Woody
Oh,
feels
that's
it,
right.
and then he just like once
Well,
it's
actually,
safe,
that
he
is another
runs to
question
the thing.
that I had. Woody felt it. Did he feel pain or did it just, "Oh, I'm on fire"? I couldn't tell
You see,
if the
here's
toys
the
can
thing.
feel pain.
Here's the thing about Toy Story. It raises so many questions. But that one is the question I was asking myself because Woody is very reactive to pain. He
Mhm.
says "ow" when he gets hit. He definitely that was like a pain scream when he got lit on fire
Oh,
because
absolutely.
he like there was the relief when he stuck his head in the milk. So like Woody definitely feels pain, which raises a whole lot of questions because Buzz straight up loses his arm and it's just kind of sitting there like, oh man, I'm kind of disappointed. Like, bro, you just got dismembered.
Well, I
Do
wonder
you
if
not feel
it's
pain?
it may be a thing of like, so this is a bit weird, but like, so Woody, right, is stitched together. So
Yes.
he's not meant to be in pieces. Whereas Buzz, you can tell that his arm is like in a socket. So it could come out. So maybe for him it's not as bad.
I mean, your arm's in a socket.
Yeah, but we're not
But there's
toys.
also it's
Toys
also covered in flesh and stuff, like, it's not supposed to, but, like, Buzz, it looks like, you could just pull that bitch out.
he's
But
made of pieces.
I mean, he's made of pieces. But then you got to remember when the toys see Buzz's arm, they're looking at Woody like he's Norman Bates
Okay, but then
because
That's true.
that's a
here's
dismemberment.
another question, though, and this is actually something that I think those movies haven't tackled. What's the deal with Legos?
I
I don't
don't.
know. Well, I mean, let's okay, I think I'm gonna have to agree with Colin's sentiment to a degree because the army men clearly feel pain because the dude got stepped on
Oh,
and was like, "Leave me
yes.
behind." But if you look at Mr. Potato Head, whenever he comes apart, it's not painful. He's meant to come apart.
So it has to do with how you're made.
I think it does, but I think also Mr. Potato Head is meant to come apart in a way that Buzz is not. Buzz is not
Oh,
supposed to
okay.
be ripped apart. He can be ripped
Right,
apart,
right.
but he's
Okay.
not designed. He's not
Right.
like detachable arm man or
He doesn't
whatever.
have swappable arms, yeah.
Yeah,
Arm fall off boy. That's the name. There's this comic book character named Arm fall off boy.
but I think that he's meant to at least if he does break in that way, you can put him back together.
Yeah, he does
Yes,
seem to be made with
because they do it.
dropping in mind because but then see, the pain thing just gets back to just Sid, everything he does with his toys.
It's
How much
awful.
do they feel?
That's
Like
why they don't like him.
also like I never quite understood why most of his toys couldn't talk.
None of his toys can talk.
Well, they can't except for the ones that
It
have
says
voice boxes.
well, the one that says mama, but I don't think the
The
toy.
Listen, he has put them through so much trauma that they just don't speak anymore.
I see, is that what it is though? Because that's what I think it is, and it's like, oh my
Which is
god, that's awful.
horrifying. But I was wondering, like, it's odd that none of Sid's toys can talk. Like, realistically, I just look at it like you look at certain, like, Disney does this thing with animals, so it's like the animals we want to talk will talk. Like in Lion King, none of the wildebeest talk. Like they're just animals.
Oh,
And
that's a good
then
point. Yeah.
in Finding Nemo, that barracuda or whatever it is doesn't talk before it murks Marlin's entire family. So it's like the ones we want to talk will talk, but for Toy Story, that doesn't seem to really work for me because your whole thing is every toy is sentient, every toy is alive. But it's just like every toy in Sid's room is mute, but the trauma could definitely.
I'm
Wow, we
telling
are
you, it's the trauma.
we are
It's
9 minutes
definitely the
in, and this
trauma.
is this has gotten dark. I knew it
The
would.
Okay,
movie itself
It's a,
is dark. That's not all our
it
fault.
lends itself to very dark
it's
questions.
not. Yeah, it's kind of dark. Which it's yeah, but let's go back to actually the story and the writing and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, it's really like it's written really well. It's
It's a
just
great movie, and
yeah.
I think now that I'm older, and because I'm older and have watched so much of Joss Whedon's work, I can now pick up the parts that feel very much like Joss Whedon.
Okay.
Like, I know his style enough where I'm just like, "Oh, ha, that joke seems like something he would write," or, "Ha, that situation seems like something he would write." And when I found out that he wrote the movie, like, years ago, I don't remember how old I was when I found that out, but when I found out about that, I was like, "That explains this whole darkness within the whole Sid situation, because that's just messed up.
Yeah, I want to when we come across characters, I have a lot more to say about Sid, but just from a general standpoint, yeah, it's written very well. Like it's super funny. Even now, I've seen it a bunch of times, and it doesn't get old. Like I can always laugh at the jokes. It's just raises so many questions. I can't not have every Toy Story movie. Every time I see one, I have different questions.
I feel like you're not supposed to dig
I
this deep
know,
into
but
these movies.
like,
I don't think you're supposed to dig deep into any movie in this regard like this. Like, it's just
I
like, suspend
mean,
your disbelief. And now we're just like, okay, well, forget the disbelief for a second.
that's the
How does
thing
this
is
work?
like
exactly,
that's
because like I suspended my
fine,
disbelief.
but
I believe this can happen, but now that you've told me this can happen, you got
I'm
some
gonna
things
start
to
asking
explain.
questions.
Yeah.
Also, like at this point, we're almost 30, so we're old enough that we're gonna think about these things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, the story is great.
Yeah.
And
It's a very good, odd couple buddy comedy redemption story because Woody's like bad in the beginning.
I love him, though. I want to say that this is the one that put Pixar on the map, though, right?
I would assume this was
Hold on. No,
95, so I don't know what they were really doing before this. Toy Story is first, yeah.
yeah, Toy Story was the
That's
first
crazy.
Pixar
Like
film.
to start with that,
Yeah.
like they were hitting home runs straight out the gate. Like that's
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna say Pixar doesn't miss. Pixar rarely misses.
yeah.
I
They
think
missed
that
like once,
Pixar
maybe twice.
maybe twice. And even like I'm like they have like one bad movie. And then all the other ones I'm like, yeah, they're good. Some of them are just like underrated or like never, thought of, but
Yeah,
like the rest of
and
them are good.
Toy Story is one that's like if someone says this is the best or their favorite Pixar movie, I'm like, yeah, I feel you.
I think
It's not my
no,
favorite, but
it's not my
it's up
favorite.
there.
It's number 2 on my list.
Yeah, like it's their first movie, and they were just like, we got this. We are great at this, and we're gonna keep being great for 25 years.
To be fair, all of the Toy Story movies are in my top 4 for Pixar movies.
So it's
So
just
it's
the Toy Story
the
movies are
Toy
your
Story
top
movies
4.
are your top four.
No, they're not actually.
Wait, you just said all of the Toy Story movies were in your top 4.
Yeah,
Sorry,
they're
I'm
four.
at my
What is
top
the
5.
truth?
Sorry,
Gotcha,
all
gotcha,
4 are
gotcha.
my top 5 Pixar movies.
Interesting.
And there's one movie that separates
Jesus.
them.
Well, that's good to know. But yeah, it's great.
The Incredibles made top 3. So,
Incredibles is fire. That's my favorite Pixar movie.
yeah, I know.
But yeah, back to this one.
It slaps.
It slaps. It's fire. It's 100% Rotten Tomatoes for people who care about that stuff. You
And
have
it's
some
got
vindication there.
amazing characters.
Yes. Okay, so the characters. Like the older I got, the more I realized, oh man, Woody is just a hating ass nigga.
I didn't realize that until now when I recently watched it.
You really,
Because Woody has always been my favorite, so I think I just repressed like the beginning of Toy Story.
when I was a kid, and it's funny because this is part of the reason why Kayla doesn't really rock with the first Toy Story as much, is because when you're a kid, the movie tells you this is the main character. You want him to succeed, like him, root for him. But with Woody, it's like, oh, when you have the understanding of an older person, you're like, Woody's not great, especially toward the beginning, because Buzz doesn't do anything to him. He just arrives, and Andy
No.
likes him more, and Woody's like, this nigga gotta go.
He's just jealous. He's
Yes,
very
He's
jealous.
jealous to the
But it
point of
also
trying to
does.
knock him off a freaking dresser.
It also is just like I think it also bugs Woody that Buzz is so not aware. Like Buzz legitimately believes his own hype. And Woody's just like, bro, you're a toy.
Okay, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. This is not going to go very well. That brought up another question. Which is like, okay, so Buzz shows up and doesn't know he's a toy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Which brings up the question for me of, is that what all toys go through? Like, did Rex have to learn to talk? Did Slinky have to learn to talk? Like, if they don't know they're toys, then would they have that sentience right out the gate? Or
I mean, I think that's what Toy Story 4 was all about.
was it? I don't know.
Which was like
Really
that was a
remember.
tricky one because he was made out of like spare
Yeah,
parts
he was
by a
made to be a
child.
toy.
So his whole
Yeah.
thing was, we don't have time to unpack all that. But for these toys, does every toy do this? Does this happen to every toy? Do they all have to go through the whole process? Because if they are,
I would think
if they
not.
do, then they should have a system for this.
Yeah.
Like, oh, new
there should
toy
be like
arrival.
Well,
we're gonna
no.
do the protocol to indoctrinate him into the way of the world or whatever.
Here's the thing. Here's my counter argument. I
Mhm.
don't think that they all do because when we get to Toy Story 2, Woody is not aware that he is a character on a cartoon show. He is not aware of Jesse. He is not aware of all those people that were created for his universe.
Right. So he doesn't think he's just part of the universe. He knows he's a toy.
He knows he's a toy.
He doesn't know about the universe.
But Buzz does not have that awareness. So I guess it just depends on the toy again.
Which is interesting because other questions about Buzz. When he arrives, like, does Buzz know what toys are? I think he does.
I don't think he does.
Because he
I don't think so.
says because
he just calls them aliens at first.
well, that's the thing is like he thinks they're like life forms, but then Woody tells him, we're toys, and then he says like, oh, there's an innocent toy, blah blah blah, and Buzz is like, what kind of toy is stuck or whatever? So it's like, do you think the other toys are toys and you're not? Or do you think
Yeah, I
unless
think
that's
so.
just I don't know if that's what it is. It could just be that these life forms they call themselves toys.
I guess you just
So
like
he
this
just
is what you
adapts
call
the
yourself.
vernacular. Yeah.
Also, I would like to point out that this movie all takes place within the span of like a week.
Yeah,
It
because
does,
they have to
yeah.
move.
And they keep reminding me of that, and I was like, damn, this moves fast. Like, oh, we're moving in 2 days. Like, what? What?
Like Andy legitimately just like tossed Woody aside in the span of a week. Which I guess,
Which,
that sounds like a
kids
child.
do.
He was
Like
a
that.
But he
kid.
changed his
Mine-
entire room
See, that's
before
the thing.
moving.
That's the weird thing to me. It's like y'all are moving.
It was like, dude, you're moving in a week. Why are you changing your entire room now?
Yeah,
Which-
exactly. Just wait till you
I'm
move.
the mom. I'm gonna buy you all the sheets and shit, and then be like, yo, in a week we can set this up in the new house.
I'm gonna buy it when we move. I'm not gonna buy you the sheets and then.
Well,
have to
he got
move
them for
those
his
too.
birthday.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh right, he got
Oh.
bed sheets,
He did get okay, so they knew. Wait,
which was interesting because it was like a
he
surprise
already
gift.
knew
Did
the
she coordinate
toys?
with the kids?
No, they probably just bought him for him because Buzz Lightyear's cool.
That's fair. Yeah, they didn't know he was gonna get the toy.
We need to go back to the characters.
We're on the characters. Wait, I have one more question about Buzz,
Oh my goodness.
and it's the question that everyone asked that I don't think anyone can answer. Why does Buzz stop moving when Andy shows up if he doesn't know he's a toy?
I think it might be a self-preservation thing.
But why would he have that? Because when
Okay.
he interacts with
He's
anyone else,
because he's a toy. He's a toy. All toys probably have the self-preservation.
so it's like an
thing.
instinct thing.
No,
Yeah.
but that's something that they have to, because there's the whole get into your places thing. Like they have places,
Yeah, they
Yeah,
like.
so get into your place before you drop.
right? But that's a system that they've worked out. That's not something that he would know going in.
Yeah, if he thinks because he thinks Andy is like the chief of the alien people that he knows. So he probably would have just tried to interact with him, thinking that he's a spaceman.
I mean, unless toys are incapable of. Well, no, they're not because Woody does it at the end of the movie.
See, question,
God.
freaking John Lasseter and Joss Whedon and Andrew and Joel and Alec. But
Oh, man.
great movie. You cause some questions.
Don't ask these questions, guys. Just don't ask these questions.
But
Because
anyway.
I don't. But the funny thing is, we ask these questions, but I think the great thing about this movie is, no matter how many times you ask these questions, it never lessens how great this movie is.
Yeah, it just changes the discussion of it a little bit, but the movie's still great.
Yeah, but Woody and Buzz are our iconic duo,
Of course.
played by Tom Hanks and Tim Allen.
Okay, but speaking of what did you call Woody?
What?
Dallas? I think you had a specific term.
For Woody?
Yeah, just for like how much of an asshole he is.
Oh, hating ass nigga?
Yeah. So thank you.
Yes.
Speaking of that, though, Ham and Mr. Potato Head also kind of suck.
Yeah, there's a lot of just jerks in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't blame Mr. Potato Head though. He really he thought that Woody was trying to kill this dude.
Like
Like
he's mean, like he's a jerk to Woody from the jump, like the first scene, everything Woody says.
yeah, but I feel like Mr. Potato has always been mean, even in the other movies. He's kind of mean until
Yeah, he's just
the
a
wife
jerk.
kind of chills him out, but he's kind of just a jerk.
Oh.
Ham lightens up.
Ham isn't like he's kind of snarky, but Potato Head is like, let's lynch Woody.
Okay, here's a question, actually. Thank you for bringing that up and using that specific word.
Mhm.
Do you know, because I don't, the difference between lynching and hanging? Because, so when he says, we got to kill him, obviously they don't say the word lynching, I don't think.
Yeah,
but,
they say string him up by his drawstring though.
Right, and the Etch-a-Sketch draws a gallows,
Mm-hmm.
which is for hanging.
Mm-hmm.
So does lynching, like, does it have to be from a tree, or is it like, because
No.
I
I looked
Okay.
it up while you were
what's up?
saying all that. Lynching is to kill someone, especially by hanging. So especially by hanging for an alleged offense with or without a legal trial.
What?
So, hey
that
audience, in
just
case you
murder?
came here for the definition of the word lynching, you're welcome.
God,
Enjoy
not
the kids
in this
movie review
episode.
that we're doing.
Thanks, Dallas.
But
They
yeah, I don't
draw
like
a
Mr.
gallows on
Potato.
the Etch-a-Sketch in this movie to me.
I know, but
Yeah.
that's not something.
We need to talk to John
Anyway.
Lasseter about it. But yeah, what are we talking about? Oh, Mr. Potato Head, freaking Steve Harvey looking ass. I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like his Steve Harvey mustache.
Well, he gets rid of it at the end.
Yeah, that's fair, but he's still a jerk. I've always loved Slink though. Slinky was a ride or
Slinky's
die.
awesome.
Oh, I love him.
Like Slinky is such a ride or die that he had to see Woody waving around Buzz's dismembered arm before he stopped being loyal to him.
It's true.
Like
Him and Bo.
yeah, I mean Bo
no,
was
no.
no.
Bo's trifling. Bo's trifling.
Bo is a little bit trifling.
Buzz shows
Bo
up and
trifling?
immediately she's like, "Oh, I found my moving buddy."
Right? Yeah, that's
How-
Bo is trifling.
She said
disloyal.
that. She said
She uppity.
she uppity. She only said that one thing though. She's been ride or die for Woody from day one.
I'm sorry, you can't be that ride or die.
mean-
Talk about this is my moving buddy just because he
The
shows up.
second
make
Woody showed
jokes.
up, she was like, "Yo, let me jump on that." Like,
You can
Right.
make jokes. Jokes were made. Anyway. All right, so I have to ask you guys, as kids though, were you a Woody fan or a Buzz fan?
It's funny. I actually had both of their toys. I had a lot of these toys. I think it's because my mom worked for Disney. I had a Slinky toy. I had Woody, Buzz. I didn't have Potato Head because, he whacked. But I liked Woody as a kid. Buzz was kind of annoying, but I think that's because Woody was the character we were following. So when Woody was annoyed, I was annoyed because I was like, bro, you're a toy. Why don't you know you're a toy? But like looking back, Buzz is still annoying. And I think that's just because he's Tim Allen. And Tim Allen is annoying. And Woody is Tom Hanks. And Tom Hanks
is a treasure.
Tom Hanks knows how to play spades. I can't not like Tom Hanks. I love Tom Hanks. So he has that going for him. But Woody he's a pretty bad person toward the beginning of this movie. And even toward the middle, like his whole thing about wanting Buzz to get back is just if I show up without him, they will hang me. So it's not I want to save Buzz, it's I want to save myself.
yeah.
But it's only that way until Buzz finally, like I said earlier, like he's so tired of Buzz being like completely not self-aware. And once Buzz becomes self-aware, Woody's like, okay, you get it now. You're a toy.
Well, that's Woody has realized, the error of his ways and all that when he's sitting in the crate and Sid's about to destroy everyone.
But I think he has his realization before him in the crate. It's when he finds Buzz and realizes that Buzz now understands what he is.
When Buzz is sucking down Darjeeling.
Yeah.
With a what's her name and a what's her name?
Yeah.
That was wild. Poor Buzz. He was going through it.
Colin, what's your answer to the question?
I'm gonna go with neither.
Really?
You don't like Buzz?
I mean, I like them, but like as a kid, I didn't care. I liked the movie, but I wasn't like, "Ooh, I got to get me a Woody or a Buzz toy." I think I might have. No, I don't think I had a Woody toy. I don't actually know. Like, I didn't attach myself to either of them. I had other toys.
I had a Woody doll that I lost, and it made me so sad.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, well, I'll get into that in a little bit. And then my younger brother, who's 5 years younger than me, he was obsessed with Buzz Lightyear. So I remember like almost every birthday he would get like whatever the newest Buzz Lightyear action figure was.
Is that why you two go so hard on the Buzz Lightyear ride at Disneyland?
I mean, that's just fun because it's a shooting game, but it could be possibly, maybe. But yeah, he was super into Buzz and I was super into Woody, and I was so upset when I lost it. And like rewatching this movie, I told you guys off mic that rewatching this movie made me really appreciate Toy Story 4, which already made me cry when I saw it in theaters after what happens with Woody, the way his story ends. Because like his character, the core of his character is that he's a toy who desperately wants to make his owner happy. His desire is just to make kids happy. That is it. That is what Woody strives for in his existence, is to just make kids happy. Specifically Andy, because Andy is his owner. And then in the third movie, when they belong to a new kid, then it becomes his goal to make that kid just as happy as he made Andy. And then in the fourth movie, the kid doesn't really like him that much. And he becomes, spoiler alert for anybody who has not seen Toy Story 4, he becomes a lost toy at the end of the movie, which is why I started crying, because I lost my Woody, and I'm just hoping that my Woody is out there having a good life somewhere.
Oh,
yo, girl, you good?
I'm fine, thank you.
Jesus. I
Just
just expected it made you cry because it was trying to make you cry and it's emotional, but not like, ooh, I have a real personal connection.
No, I had a real personal connection. I lost my Woody, and I was hoping that my Woody was out there having a good life like this Woody. But also watching the first movie made me appreciate 4, because I know a lot of people didn't want 4 because 3 was kind of like the perfect conclusion.
yes, that was me.
I think 4 really finishes off Woody's story nicely because we see in the first movie he freaks out at the idea of being a lost toy. Like, he almost has, like, an emotional breakdown before trying to kill Buzz in the parking lot, and,
That's the sentence you just said.
and,
See.
he has, like yeah, he has an emotional breakdown about becoming a lost toy, and then when we get to 4, by the end of the movie, he comes for full circle, and he embraces and chooses to become a lost toy because he realizes that he's gonna make a lot more kids happy by being a lost toy. I'm like, "Wow, I didn't realize what a perfect ending this was for Woody until I rewatched the first movie."
That's true. That's a good point.
It's fantastic, and I love Woody. Woody is awesome when he's not being a douchebag.
Yeah, that's fair.
Woody was always my favorite.
I respect that. He's a really good character. Like, even
Yeah.
though he starts at a pretty well, he doesn't start at a low place, but he's kind of like, he's the voice of reason. He's the leader. He's the solid one until he gets jealous, and then that whole thing happens. But he has some good growth from that point forward.
I can't even explain why I liked Woody more than I liked Buzz, because Buzz seems like it would be in my wheelhouse because, sci-fi.
True.
He's a spaceman, and I don't really watch a lot of Westerns, but, like, Woody the cat I love Woody. Could be because Toy Story 2 is, like, my favorite Toy Story movie, but
It could be because
whatever.
deep down you knew that Tom Hanks was going to be better than Tim Allen.
I knew Tom Hanks was the one to trust. He's a national treasure.
Exactly.
I knew that.
And he knows how to play spades. But
Why is that such a good thing?
there's a just because of this video with him and Tim Allen being interviewed, and it's a black guy interviewing them because spades is a big part of black people's culture, and he's talking to them about spades, and Tim Allen has no idea what they're talking about, and Tom Hanks looks at, you know how to play spades, man? And it's just like,
I don't know what
That's
you
why
guys
you
are
got a
talking
black
about.
card.
I don't
That's
know,
what's-
have any idea what you guys just said. You don't know how to play spades?
I didn't know you know how to play spades, 60-year-old white man. But it was great. Moving on, I have to talk about Sid. It's very important.
All right, go for it.
So the
Played
first
by
time,
one of my Disney
Huh?
crushes from my youth. I
Ah,
said he's played by one of my Disney crushes from my youth. Eric Von Detten, I mean, Brink, he played Clue on So Weird. He was the really popular hot guy in The Princess Diaries. I grew up having a huge crush on Eric Von Detten. So when I found out he was Sid, my brain just couldn't even,
yeah, it's pretty wild.
like, I couldn't form it. It didn't make
And
sense.
he played it really well.
Yeah,
I didn't think about voice acting when I was a kid watching this movie, but like he nails that scary child acting very, very well. You should do more
which is
voice work.
crazy. I'm used to him being like surfer, skater, dude bro, not too bright kind of guy.
Yeah.
So for him to be sociopathic child, I'm like, what the heck, dude?
Which, let's get into that. Because when Buzz first sees Sid, do you guys remember what he says? When they say,
No.
oh, that's
No.
Sid. And he says, you mean that happy child?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
that is exactly what Sid is. Because if you think about the fact that Sid does not know these toys are alive, he's playing with inanimate objects. From the perspective of the toys, he's a monster. But he doesn't know that. Like, he's mean to his sister in the way that an older brother might be, but he's not a psychopath.
That's true. It's
Yeah.
very true.
He's a normal,
he's an
like, he's not.
edgy kid. He's
Yeah,
just
like
an edgy kid.
he's a kid with what's most likely a rough home life. Because let's be honest, why is this boy skating home at night by himself from Pizza Planet? Where are your parents at? He's creative. He's a creative kid. He just wants to,
Wants to blow things up.
yeah, kids like fireworks. They shouldn't play with them. Also, how was he able to get that firework? Did he
Yeah,
order
he's
it?
just buying fireworks
His
off
parents
the
get it
internet.
for
He
him?
said he'd been waiting.
His parents are whatever.
Also, he's a little bit meaner to his sister than most older brothers. I don't know any older brothers who would take their sister's toys and then like make monstrosities out of them for fun.
I mean, think about the things
Like
that he could
to
be
do
like.
it with your own toys, fine, that's really creative. But to do it with your little sister's favorite doll, that's mean.
That is mean, but like, it's not like he's beating her up.
Okay, that's fair.
He took her doll and put a dinosaur head on it, and then she screamed like, "Yeah, he's a mean older brother," but that's pretty much the extent. He talks to these toys like, "Oh, haha, I'm gonna get you," but he doesn't know they're actually alive. And justifiably from Woody's standpoint, they completely wreck this kid mentally. I just want to know who is Sid's therapist, because
he needs one after that.
and that's the thing. He goes through something that by all reason should have destroyed him. He's the only person on Earth who knows that toys are sentient. No one will ever believe him. He will never be able to get someone to believe him. So either he will have
Not
to
after
live.
that Exorcist moment.
Exactly. So he'll either have to repress this, not tell anyone, or actually repress it and make himself think that he imagined that as a child, which also wasn't healthy. But
Listen, he's probably better off just doing that, though. It's probably healthier for him.
well, whatever he did, by the time Toy Story 3 shows up, he's very happy. He's the happiest garbage man anyone has ever seen because he's
Is he
picking
in
up the
Toy
trash
Story
and just
3?
like, yeah, he's the garbage man that picks up the trash outside of their house. And he's just like scatting, listening to his music, like dancing around. He is living his best life.
Well, I'm glad that he got better.
But like how? Like I'm glad he got better too. But how do
Hardcore
you get better
therapy.
from that? Like
I
whoever
mean,
his
yeah, you
therapist
got
is,
therapy.
his therapist is the Michael Jordan of therapists. Because that's something that
Wait,
can't
no,
even
I don't.
happen.
See, the problem is you said that, and my
Oh God.
first thought was, "Fuck them kids."
I thought about that too as soon as I said it. No, not the literal Michael Jordan of therapist.
Oh my goodness. We should move on though to visuals and sound.
I just feel like okay, yeah, that's fair. I just wanted to point that out because everybody else, oh, Sid's evil. He's a monster. Like, no, he's not. He's just a kid. He's playing with toys.
I mean,
And then
from the
he
point of
stops.
view of toys, yeah, he's evil.
Right. But like, he immediately stopped once he realized, oh, I'm hurting things that are alive.
But now they scare him.
Well, see, I don't think he stopped because he found out they were alive and he felt bad. He stopped because they threatened to hurt him.
But we don't know that. Like, we don't know that he would have.
We kind of do though, because that was the sense I got from when he goes back in the house and his sister shows him a toy and he freaks out. Even though there's nothing about that one.
Yeah, like we know he's afraid of them. But I'm saying that we don't know he would have kept going knowing that they were alive if the threat wasn't there.
Okay, good point.
But, he could have been a psychopath. I'm just saying we don't have enough evidence to know. But yeah, shout out to his therapist because, man, he or she fixed that boy. Because he had to be ruined.
Audios and visuals. Let's go.
Yes. So when we talked about doing this, Colin brought up the visuals and sound portion because, this movie came out when they didn't really know how to make people look real or good in this kind of animation. So
Yeah.
obviously
That's the only thing I think looks weird in this movie. I
That's
think
what I was
everything
gonna
else
say.
looks great.
Yeah, the rest of it holds up really well.
Obviously, the humans look like bad dreams, but like,
And the dog.
yeah, like everything that's
Ooh.
alive, like organically alive, not toy alive,
Yeah.
looks horrifying. But the toys look really good, especially for like 95.
They really do. Yeah.
Like the polish on Woody, Buzz has this subtle glow in the dark whenever he's like in the shadows. The detail on the army men, they have that like plastic line that they get on that. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, they did a really good job on the toys. And I'm proud of them for that.
Yeah, because when Colin sent that message about it not looking as good, I'm like, well, obviously it's not going to look as good as, what we have today. But then I was watching it and I was like, this looks fine. Nothing about this is like horrible. And then like, we saw some humans and I was like, okay, they're not as great as we can do now. But like, I'm not like thrown off completely. Like the toys, which are the most important part, still look really, really cool. Look really great.
Good job for that.
But now the fabricing and all that stuff just looks even better.
Yeah, like they got better over time.
Colin, what do you think of the visuals outside of the humans looking weird? You said that they hold up pretty well.
Yeah, outside of the humans, all of it looks. I mean, obviously, it's still old, and you can still see that, but like, it's not like upsetting. It doesn't look bad. It's just like, yeah, this looks a bit dated, but I feel like it holds up really well, and I think the sounds are particularly great. Like,
oh my gosh, I was going to bring that up.
Their different sounds, and like that works really well.
I love the sound design on this movie, and like I've told you guys this before, sound design isn't something that really, it's not something that I look for, and I only notice if it's really good. Like that's the only time I ever notice sound design is if it's really bad or if it's really good. Usually it's really good. And this movie is one of those movies where like even since I was a kid, I've always really liked the sounds in this movie. Like when Woody pulls the fly off of Buzz's helmet in the car when they're at the gas station. I don't know why I've always really liked, it's like a slimy little sound. And I've always liked that noise for some reason.
I hate everything about that.
I love that sound. I've always loved that sound.
I hate the sound.
The sound that of Woody blinking when the tire almost rolls him over, like right when he like wakes back up. I've loved that sound. Like this
deep cuts. I didn't even think about his blinking noise.
Oh man, there are like there are so many noises in this movie where I'm like, yeah, that sounds really good. We didn't mention him during the character part, but I love RC, and part of that is his noises. He makes really awesome sounds, like the squeaking.
So that's actually okay. Here we go again.
Here we go.
RC can't talk, but
No.
he can make his noises and they can interpret those.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why can't he talk? Is it because he
He's a
doesn't have
car.
a mouth? Well, what does that have to do with anything? Rex is a dinosaur.
I don't think he has a mouth,
Li-
though. Yeah, I think you make a point with him not having a mouth. He has a
Oh, no,
grill.
'cause,
He
like-
doesn't have a mouth.
Lenny is a pair of binoculars and he can talk.
Good point.
And he doesn't
But I think
have a
it's
mouth
just, I feel like RC probably shouldn't be able to talk just because at any point in time they can like imperious him with his steering wheel and make
Yeah,
him go
that's
wherever he wants. That would
fucked
suck if he
up.
was
I
like,
was
"Hey man,
thinking
please
about
stop."
that. Well, then again, I mean, you can physically abuse a lot of Woody shakes up Etch-a-Sketch for no reason.
Yeah, it just can't talk either.
Like,
He
oh,
talks
God.
using the Etch-a-Sketch.
Right, yeah.
I also think it's a far more interesting creative choice to have RC just make car noises.
Yeah, especially because
Pixar disagreed with you though, because then they made Cars.
I like Cars.
No, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying like they disagree with you that having the car not talk was a good
Oh
choice.
well, yeah, no, but that's different. That's a world full of cars. This is a world full of toys, and he's a toy car. I think it's more interesting that he makes car noises. But yeah, the sounds in this movie are ridiculously dope.
Also, Woody tries to make him an accessory to murder. So
Yeah, if he could speak, that would be the end of the movie.
Buzz, look out!
Well, he did say that.
Yeah,
he
but
still
like
tells them.
he could have said, "Woody, stop! What are you doing?" Buzz, no, run.
And somebody would have heard him.
Would have changed the whole game. Speaking of people being like hearing things, these toys yell a lot.
They do.
They yell from across houses, and no one notices.
Nope.
But that's just another thing that we're not supposed to think about.
I don't know. I hear people yell in my neighborhood, and I don't pay them any attention.
I mean, like you don't hear people yelling in your house that don't live there.
That's the thing is like
I'd be
you're also
terrified.
you have to
We
figure
don't
you're
know-
hearing people yell from your room, but you know there's no one in your room.
Well, we
That's
don't know
what
that
it
they
is.
were home.
So like, I don't know. I mean,
It's a lot of different
it's-
voices screaming.
it's worth thinking about. Especially you hear this adult man's voice.
in your child's room.
Like, who are you, Tim Allen?
Right? Is that
Why
Tim
are you in
Allen
my
up there?
child's room? Home Improvement? What the fuck?
You just hear freaking
It's
Buzz
the
Lightyear's
he's
voice
Santa
upstairs.
guys. Tim Allen is Santa Claus. Of course he's there.
I don't
Is
want-
it Christmas? Because otherwise, no, he is not.
At the end of the movie, it's Christmas.
Get 1 day a year.
I don't want Tim Allen as Santa Claus anymore. I don't want him sliding down my chimney. Whoa, Merry Christmas, niggas. Can't have that.
Well, okay, we're gonna move forward to what is your favorite aspect of this movie?
I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about the Papa John's meme. If y'all niggas want some pizza. When I'm picturing Tim Allen as Santa Claus. Y'all niggas want some presents? We can move on.
Oh my god.
My favorite thing about this movie is just there's so much. It's such a good movie. But I think my favorite aspect of this movie is Woody and Buzz's journey to becoming friends because they're like buds toward the end, and I love it.
Yeah, they're homies at the end. Colin, what's your favorite aspect of
I'm
this movie?
sorry, I still need a second. The Tim Allen thing fucking killed me. Jesus Christ. I don't think I can ever watch the Santa Claus again.
I will be watching it for Christmas.
All right, anyway, my favorite thing about Toy Story, I don't know, I feel like it's just like the concept and the world. Because it's like, yeah, you can ask the question of like, oh, what if your toys were really alive? But like the way the movie presents it is just like really cool. And the way they have to integrate into human society and like we're alive, but they can't know we're alive. It's just like, that's really cool. And it never like, yeah, I've seen the movie a bunch of times, but it never gets old.
I agree with that. Yeah, it does. It like never gets old. You're right. My favorite part of this movie is Woody. No.
I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Demi likes backstabbers. Okay.
Wow.
I mean, you know what? Watching this movie, it made me like I was watching it and I was just like, huh. Was me choosing Woody over Buzz the beginning of me choosing complex characters over just genuinely nice ones?
Yeah, but you're arguing that Buzz isn't complex, and I would say that he is.
I'm not
His
saying he
entire
isn't.
world gets shattered halfway through the movie.
Yeah, but he's not like
Well,
Woody.
Colin, you got to remember that when Demi says that
you
she
are
likes
replacing complex. You're just saying
the thing.
complex. That just means like fucked up.
Demi likes bad people. So when she
She
says
does.
complex characters, she means like,
She
oh,
does.
like
I
people
don't
who are
like
terrible.
bad
Buzz-
people.
Yes, you do.
You're acting like the other characters are.
Hold on, wait a
You
minute,
should
wait a
like
minute.
characters who do the dark shit.
I do like the characters who do the dark stuff, but like, hold on, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad people.
No,
Woody, I think, is a bad person
It's-
through most of this movie.
fair.
Okay,
Yeah. So like, yeah, you like.
I'm just saying that the moment that I chose Woody was the moment that I started down this path.
Yeah, when you were 3, you never had a chance.
Maybe Gabby was right. Maybe kids are sociopaths.
And we're back to Sid.
Hold on. But I still like good characters. I mean, there are plenty of good characters in my favorite character list. Yes, I love Martha Jones. Martha Jones is the best Doctor Who companion, and y'all can fight me on it. She's just a good person, and she's a doctor.
Okay. All right.
Anyway.
Okay. All right.
All right. Also, like, I love superheroes.
That's fair.
Yeah, but superheroes aren't always 100% good. Like, if
Not
you tell me
always,
you love
but
Batman, that doesn't mean shit. Batman got problems.
That's true. I love Black Canary.
All right. I don't know
good.
that much about her.
Yeah,
but
she's
seems
solid.
cool.
She's not a bad person.
Black Canary is genuinely just a good person. Anyway,
yeah.
Back to my favorite aspect of this movie, probably the writing, I guess. Like, I don't know. It's like Colin said, like, there's so many good things about this movie that it's hard to, like, pinpoint, like, what's the favorite part of it, because, like, it all just works together so smoothly that I can't really be like, yeah, it's just that one part for me. It's like, but all of it's so good. I don't know if I can choose.
That's
Woody's just easy. Woody's just my favorite character. But yeah, but possibly the writing. I think the writing is, where it really, like, stands out. It's like Colin said, it's an interesting execution of this type of story.
Fair.
And I think that's all we've got for you guys today. We went into the existentialism of toys.
Yeah.
We've discussed possibly sociopathic children who are not actually sociopaths.
Sure.
And
that sounds like something a sociopath would say.
Wow.
I have feelings, and you know
you're
this.
the one who has to deny it.
I didn't deny it. Dallas is the one who denied it.
Anyway.
On behalf of Sid. Just Sid.
Dallas gave a whole TED Talk.
I did. I'm not going to let you guys vilify this child for playing with toys.
His own way. Dallas gave a TED Talk.
What?
A question.
What up, dude?
Yeah.
When we talked about the thick Pixar moms, was that off mic or on mic?
That was off mic. I was just about to say we did not talk about thick moms.
Cool. I just thought I'd ask.
I mean, we can't in this one, so.
No, they don't have one, but it's just like, it's interesting that this is before that became their signature.
Yeah, they hadn't come up with the tradition yet, and now they have.
True. Shout out to Pixar.
I don't know. Now I feel like we need to watch the other Toy Stories and see if, like, something changed.
Well, I'm planning to anyway, so I'll let you know.
I don't think she gets thick.
I don't know.
What a way to end this.
Hey, guys, just keep listening to the podcast, and we'll give you an update on whether or not the mom gets thick or not.
That's true. Anyway, yes, thank you for listening to all of our in-depth discussion of, all of that. Existentialism, thick moms, if toys are inherently alive or bad or good. It got deep. It's a deep episode. I like it. I'm into that. Thank you, Crown Digital, Brandon and Io, for helping us subjectify everyone to this. Subject everyone to this?
You just subject someone
Is
to something.
subjectify a word, or am I thinking of
You
objectify?
objectify, but you also
I don't think you can
people.
subjectify.
Yeah, I'm not
because
thinking you can
objectifying is
subjectify.
treating something like an object or someone.
Which is interesting, because we're talking about Toy Story.
Isn't it?
And they're objects. Wow.
Nicely done.
Deep. But yeah, thanks, guys, for putting us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Dimmy, thank you for editing, putting us on YouTube, and, reining us in when we got too far into the questions of the toy's existence.
I'm trying, but I don't. This podcast is going to be longer than I anticipated.
That's fair. It went off the rails. Colin, thank you for joining me and raising all these questions, because I think they're very important.
Oh, dude, anytime.
Yeah. If you guys in the audience want to talk to us about Toy Story, Sid's time in therapy, etc., you can find us on the medias, Twitter, y'all_different, Instagram and Tumblr, Creative Differences Podcast, or Facebook.com/Creative Differences PC. If you can explain to me why Buzz stops moving when humans show up, then find me on Twitter and Instagram at a king named Simba, because I want to know. And I could talk all day about these weird existential questions, because Toy Story did not answer them for me.
You can find me on Twitter at DuckMcDuck.
And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dreamy Films. Dreamy is spelled DREEMI. And remember, you've got a friend in us. Thanks again for joining us.
Yes, and speaking of our friends, you can find Gabby on Twitter at Thick Pixar Mom. That is thick with 2 C's. Pixar Mom. All one word. All right.
It's been different.
Bye.